Now, without any further delay, I would like to turn today's live meeting over to your presenter, Margarita Mironova. Margarita, you have the floor.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. And today's session will be about the command menu in Dynamics AX and also installation and configuration in details. And so we will go through Chapter 8 and 9 in your manuals. So first part will be addressed the command menu, and the second will be installation and configuration. So for the next 90 minutes, we will use go to the main table form, use restore features, use setup feature, use hide and show features, create alert rules, view record information, unselect records, use document handling feature, and delete records and edit records. This section introduces the command menu. This menu provides many of the display and action options for Microsoft Dynamics AX. Most users will access many of the options on this menu by using the right-click shortcut on forms and fields. We will go through the following scenario on our section. So the scenario is you're a partner implementing Microsoft Dynamics AX. Your task is to teach the customers and users how to use the features on the command menu. The command menu holds many of the display options available in Microsoft Dynamics AX. The command menu is only available when a form for which the menu is relevant has been selected. So now I will move to my Dynamics AX, and as you can see, I have items form currently open, and the command menu on the tools menu is active, so I can click it and you will see the list of the options. If I will close this form, you can see the command menu is not available. So the command menu is available only if any forms are open in Dynamics AX. Go back to my items and expand it again. So first function in the command menu is go to the main table form. The go to the main table form feature provides quick access to the main table that holds the records for whatever field is selected in the window. So to use go to the main table form, we just select the record and select the field you would like to see the records, and you can call the form with the records. So let's have a look at item type. I highlighted item type. Go to the command and click go to the main table form. It's not active for me, so I will choose the group, and if I will click groups, you can see the list of the groups available, and I want to see the properties of the item groups, and go to the command, go to the main table, and you can see the item group table is open, and I can see the properties. The go to the main table form can also be accessed by right-clicking in the field. So again, if I will highlight my item group and right-click on it, you can see the go to the main table form. Click it, and the main form appears on the screen. Next is the next feature in the command menu is restore. The restore option restores a record to its previous state as long as the record is still active. In this manner, it is similar but more limited to the undo button found in Microsoft Office products. The restore option is only functional before the user has left the record or saved changes to the record. So let's have a look how the restore option works. Let's try on the general ledger. I'll close my items. In the general ledger, we open chart of accounts and go to the setup tab, and we'll click exempt field for the sales tax for the VAT and move to the currency field. Now we will go to the command menu and click restore. You can see the modification was restored to the previous state. So the field exempt was restored to its previous state. Also, the restore option can be executed by pressing F5. Next in the command menu feature is setup. The user setup form lets the user view the setup of the current form and make modifications. Whenever an individual user modifies this form, the setup is saved as part of that user's personal setup, and it's stored in the USR layer. Therefore, modifications are customized for each user and will not affect other users' viewing of the form. So that means that you can, if you are not happy with the setup or you want to make more convenient for yourself, you can make modifications on the forms and it will not affect other users. So to modify the form, again, we can try the accounts receivable form, or accounts payable. Let's try on the accounts payable, and on the purchase orders, and click command and setup. The form layout for the sales order form will display in the left side of the pane. You can use the move buttons to move the, for example, general tab. Let's make the exercise. So first, open something. No, okay, comment. Yes, so the user setup on my purchase orders opened, and you can see on in the tab header group we can see all the tabs. So we can move general tab after posting tabs by using the up and down moves. So let's move it down and move it after the posting. So you can see the general tab moved after the postings. And then on the general tab we can select the contact information and then select Add Fields button. And add the city into the contact information city field. So I will click Add. And close the form. So I added 2 fields. I can remove one because I have more than on city, and also I can move city down so it will appear after the email address. Okay, and when I will close the form, the setup form, you can see the general tab was moved and it is after the other tab, and in the contact information group we have city that appears under the email addresses. The properties options enable users to configure how individual fields are used or whether they are displayed at all. So if I will go back to my command menu and go to the setup again, you will see the properties options menu group on the right side. For example, an implementation partner has just demonstrated to the client how to add the city field to contact info tab of the purchase order. The client has stated that although the city name is helpful information, it must not be editable. The implementer can show the client how to modify the properties of this field so that it will be visible but not editable. So to modify the properties of this form, you can select again the user setup, and then we have to find our general tab and group contact information and our city field. We can check and uncheck the clear the visible checkbox, so the field will not display on the sales order form. We will not do it now because we need to see this field, and the next one is the edit context checkbox. The field will not be editable. So if we remove this checkbox, the city field will not be editable. And select the skip checkbox when the user moves on the form using the tab key, and this field will be skipped. So just select it. When changes are made to the properties of a field, the field becomes bold in the layout list, and the headings above the field also become bold to indicate that a property has changed. So if you want to know more information about the field, you can address the help by pressing F1 or going to the help menu. So if I will close my setup form, you can see that city is not editable anymore, and if I will use tab, it will be skipped by the tab. So there are no limitations regarding the movement and addition of fields on a form. In the user setup form, names of fields and forms can be modified as well. So back to my command and setup. To modify the form name, you have to go back to the setup, highlight the field you want to rename, and in the label field of the properties pane, we can type a new name for the field. For our example, we rename our city. I want to call it town instead, so I'll type town and click OK or save it and close the form. So you can see the label was changed from city to town on this form. In the user setup form, the information tab displays the following information, so I will just go back to our setup and you will see the Information tab. So Information tab displays the following information: the name of the form being modified, when and by whom the form was created and last modified, and the version number of the form. The menu item field refers to the name of the item that was selected when the form was opened. The caller field indicates the location where the form was called from. Query. The last tab of the user setup form is Query tab. This tab displays the active query, including relations, ranges, sorting, and tunneling. This tab is only visible to users who have admin rights. Also, we have the Retrieve from User button on the user setup form, and it lets the user retrieve setup configurations saved by another user. So, for example, your colleague has the setup form setup that appears convenient to you, and you want to have exactly the same setup. So instead of doing this by yourself, you can just copy the form setup from your colleague. Also, we have the Reset button. Reset button, if clicked, it resets to the default values that were used before modification. At the end of this section, on page 227, you can find exercises, and these exercises will help you to practice the steps that we just did now. So if you want to, you can do them by the next week session. Meanwhile, I will move to my presentation, and next is the hide and show features. The hide and show features let users hide or show fields and tabs within the system. The hide option can be used to hide specific fields within the window. So if I will close my purchase orders and just move to sales orders, for example, and open the sales orders form, in the command I can select the first I will select the field I want to hide. So for example, invoice account, and then to go to the command and click hide. You see my invoice account was hidden. The hide option can also be initiated by right-clicking in a field and selecting hiding from the menu. So again, I can right-click, select the field, right-click on it, and select hide, and my field was hidden. Group of fields denoted by the shaded group name can be hidden as well. So if I'll go to the Setup tab, you can see we have field groups: administration, posting, VAT, stock, for example. So the whole group can be hidden on the form as well. So if I will click on the group, right-click on it, and select hide, you can see the administration group disappeared from my Setup tab. Also, you can hide the whole tab. To hide the whole tab, you need to find the an empty area of the tab. So I'll just click this side and right-click on it and select hide. You see the whole Setup tab disappeared. So what happens if you want your tabs and fields back? Hidden objects can be redisplayed using one of two methods. Right-clicking anywhere on the form and selecting the Show, and then selecting the fields, groups or tabs to be redisplayed. So you can see the whole list of the items we just hid, so we can select one particular item that we want to show. So let's select administration, and also I want to show the Setup tab. So my Setup tab is back, and administration on Setup tab is back as well. Also, you can use Show by clicking Command and Show function from the Command menu. Also, there is a Show All option that will redisplay any hidden fields, groups or tabs on the form. So if I will right-click on the tab and select Show All, the all fields that were hidden previously will be shown back. So again, on page 230 in your manuals, you can find the exercises where you can practice all the hide and show functions, features in Dynamics AX. So now I'll move to the alert and alert rules. Microsoft Dynamics AX provides the capability for users to stay informed on the condition of their business by using alerts. Users can set up alert rules in all modules of Microsoft Dynamics AX. Users can use alerts to notify when a payment on a purchase order is due and payment is past due. Show when delivery dates have been changed. Inform the user that a customer address has changed. Notify when a production order due date has been reached and the order is not reported as finished. And alert rules are user-specified and can be set on any table field or for any specific event. The purpose of creating alert rules is to define the criteria the system must meet to trigger an alert, usually match between an event and fulfillment of specific conditions. Users must have access to all the tables and fields required by a rule for that rule creation or modification to be accepted by the system. So let's try and create an event alert rule. The procedure for creating event rules and due date rules are similar, except for different choices in the Alert Me When section of the Create Alert Rule form. To create an event alert rule, we have to, for example, first move to Dynamics AX and on the sales order, on the delivery tab, we can select the field for which the event alert rule will be set. So we can use confirmed receipt date, click Command, and create alert rule. Also, the Create Alert Rule functionality can be accessed by the right-clicking in the field. So if I will just again select it and right-click, I can select Create Alert Rule. So the Create Alert Rule form will appear, and first in the field the Create Alert Rule form will be displayed with the selected field displayed in the field name. click the event arrow to display event types. So we can choose different event types we want to use for our alert. Make the desired selection in the Alert Me for area of the form. So we can select all records in sales orders, current records, or only records in sales orders that match the selected filter. Excuse me. To monitor a specific set of records, click the Select button and open the query form from which filters for the alert can be set. So you can set up the criteria on the specific record. So alert would run to, I'll close it. Click End Date to enable the end date field. So I'll click it. And put an expiration date on the alert. If no end date is desired, leave the default settings on of no end date. So I will select no end date. Enter text in subject field for the title of the alert, and enter in the text in the message field for information text that will accompany the alert message. Alert rule administrators can designate the recipients of the alert using the user ID field. Appropriate security keys are required for this action. Next, you can click Show Pop-up to display a pop-up window for the alert. So when alert is activated, you will see the pop-up window with a notification about the alert. So click OK and save the alert rule. Or you can click Cancel to discard it. So you see, we are back to the we are in the Manage Alert Rules. Manage Alert Rules functionality lets users manage existing alert rules, for example, modifying criteria. So to find Manage Alert Rules, you can go to the Tools, and in the Tools menu we have the Manage Alert Rules feature, where we can have a look at all alerts in the system and modify them. On the Overview tab, select the alert to be modified, and with the alert rule highlighted, we can move to the General tab and modify the alert. If you would like to try this exercise by yourself, you can find the exercises on page 234 in your manuals. Next step is view record information, and I will move to my slide. This form is used to display information about the record currently selected in a Microsoft Dynamics AX application window. The table name is displayed in addition to the field name and the entry in that field. The record information form contains the following functions: rename, show all fields, print all fields, database log, script, company accounts template, and user template. The functions on the record information form differ based on the form type selected. For example, the record information for the sales order form does not contain company account templates and user templates because these are not relevant to the sales order. So let's have a look at the record information. Excuse me. For that, I will move to my stock management module and try and open items. And in the excuse me, in the command menu, I'll select the record info, and you can see the information about my record that I highlighted, and it's BPAC1. So first we have the excuse me. First we have the rename button, and it enables the user to assign a new value to the primary key. By using this function, other tables referencing this key are updated to guarantee referential integrity. This button is only visible if a primary key exists. So to rename the record, we have first to I will close and repeat it again for you. We'll close the record information. So first we have to highlight the item, in our case item, from item table, and go to the main menu and select the record info, or also exactly the same function could be called by right-clicking and selecting record info. And if I will click rename button, I can enter the new name for my item number. But and when I will click OK, the item will be renamed, and it will be renamed everywhere these items appear in the tables in the Dynamics AX. So Dynamics will look at all the locations where this item used and rename it everywhere it was used. So, but be careful to using this feature when you're using this feature. Executing the rename task will overwrite the existing records in every table of the Microsoft Dynamics AX system where the record is found. This can be a time-consuming process. So I will not rename it now because it will take some time. So to not waste time, I'll just click cancel and cancel the operation. Next button is Show All Fields. The Show All Fields button opens a form that displays all fields from all tabs of a record. This option is provided for ease of viewing all settings for a record without toggling between tabs. To access the Show All Fields, we can press the Show All Fields. So again, we highlighted our record, which is BR14, and if I will click Show All Fields, all information about this item will appear in one form, so we don't need to look through the tabs. So if I will again select my item and go to the record info, the next button will be Print All Fields. The Print All Fields button will assemble a report that contains all information for all fields of the record. A print dialog box will appear when where the report destination can be specified. So this is very similar to Show All Fields, only it will give you possibility to print reports about all information about the selected item. Next button is Company Accounts Template. The Company Accounts Template option will use the current record, if applicable, as a company template. The new template is added to the list of available templates for use through the company. Only the admin user can create a company template. However, after the template is created, it can be used by all users of the current company. So let's add a new company template. So I will close my record info, and again I will select my new item, which will be BR6. Right click on it and select record info, and I want to create the company accounts template that will be used by all employees in my company. So Dynamics AX will ask me to give a name to our template. As I'm using item number BR6, I will better name the same way my template. So it will be BR6. I can add a description for the template, and if I will click OK, the template was created. So the next time that user creates a new record, the selected template form will open and display to user the available templates. So let's try, I will close the records information and try creating new records in the item table. You see the window with list of templates will appear where I can select templates I want to use for my new record. Also, I can select blank if I don't want to use any templates. So if I will create my BR6, you can see our description, and if I will click OK button, the item with exactly the same properties was created, only the item number name has to be assigned, and it has to be different from the template item because it has to be unique. So I will not create it, I will just delete it. Okay, and we'll go back to my record info form, and next button is the user template button. The user template option will use the current record, if applicable, as a template for that user. The new template is added to the list of available templates available for that user in the current company. User template functionality is enabled in the same manner the company account template functionality is involved. So you see the user template is only for the user that currently uses the Dynamics AX and creates this template. So let's close the form, and I will select the different item that will be BUAD, and again I will right click on it and select the record info and create the user template and name it. I can add description again, and if I will click OK, my user template is created. So next time I'm creating a new item, you will have the list of the templates again, and my BUAD item is in the list as well. The difference between user templates and company templates you can see by the icon. So user templates have a little man in the box, and the company templates have a building or a company, so you can see the template in your list. So I will click Escape and just close my item form, move to my presentation, and next item in our command menu is document handling. So the document handling form shows the document references and their notes attached to the selected item in the active form. A good example of where document handling is useful is for handling instructions for particular items on a sales order. Individual handling instructions can be attached as notes to individual items on the sales order. From this form, users can display notes, create notes, display documents, create new documents, edit existing documents, print existing documents, link existing document references to other references. When a record has a document attached, the document handling menu item will have a check mark next to it, and the document handling icon on the toolbar will be selected. So if I will go back to my Dynamics AX and select my items table, go to the Command menu so you can see the document handling option. I'll select it. And on the document handling form, there are several options that affect the use and display of the documents that will be attached. The document handling form includes the following checkboxes. So first is select. Select whether to display all users' document references to the transaction referred to or only the current user. The Show Reference Only checkbox, you can select whether to display only document references and their notes without tab pages and buttons, or to display everything. And Show File, select to display any file attachments or whether only the note field will be displayed. So, I don't have any attachments currently, so you can't see the difference. Overview tab displays documents with summaries that have been attached to the record. And the General tab displays the information specific to the line selected on the Overview tab. The document handling form includes also following buttons. The first button is New, and helps you to add a new document, file or note as a reference. Users can select the following document types: document, fax, CRM, faxcast, file, inbox, letter, note, outbox, and quotation. Next button is Open. It's not active currently because I don't have any documents attached, but when it's active, it will help you to open the document that is attached to the reference. The Setup button is used to set up default options for opening and displaying the document handling form. Click Options to select from the following. Show Standard selects whether to show references as a default for all users or the current user. Show References Only as default selects whether to show the reference list only as default without the buttons, and Show Any Attached Files as default selects whether to view file and not note as a default. So I'll cancel and move to the next button. Is Functions. This button accesses functions that can be executed with regards to the reference. So Log Unlock. Log updates of the document overview. When Log is selected, the button changes to Unlock, and when it's clicked, the overview is updated again when, for example, selecting another customer. Copy. Use this button to copy a reference to a document so that another transaction or several other transactions have a document reference to the same document. Paste. Use this button after copy is used to paste the reference to a single document. Paste to All will paste a single reference to multiple documents. And the last button is Inquiries. This button accesses inquiries that can be executed with regards to the reference. And references, this form lists all records that refer to the same document, and temporary files are files that are being used but not yet written to the database. Select Save File after selecting an individual file to save it in the database, or choose Update All to write all of the temporary files in the view to the database. So to try this exercise with attachments and document handling by yourself, you can find the exercises on page 241. And I would like to ask you to make them before next session next week. Meanwhile, we will move to the next command menu item, I will close the document handling. And on the command, you can see the next one is the delete records. The delete records menu item accessed by clicking command delete, and this function is used to delete the selected records. So if I will select the record and select delete record, the record will be deleted. The records only deleted if they don't have transactions attached to it. Otherwise, the system will send you the info log saying that a record can be deleted because it has transactions in the system. This option can also be achieved by using the shortcut key of Alt F9, or you can use the delete button on the tools menu. You can see. And the last feature of the command menu is edit. The edit option, accessed by clicking command and edit, invokes editing capability for certain records within Microsoft Dynamics AX. So users can also access this option by pressing Ctrl-Shift-F2. And I will move to next slide. So we finished with the first section of our course, and this section covered elements of the command menu, and this included the main table, restore, setup, hide and show, alert rules, record information, document handling feature, deleting records, and editing records. Remember that for the command menu to be active, a relevant form must be selected, and it is also helpful to remember users can right-click to access many of the command menu features. So at the end of this chapter in your manuals, it's chapter number 8, you will find the test your knowledge questions that I would like to ask you to answer just right after our session, so you can refresh your memory, and it will help you to memorize better today's course. So meanwhile, we will move to the second part of our course, which is install Microsoft Dynamics AX. So in this section, we will go through the installation and configuration of Microsoft Dynamics AX. So for the next 40 minutes, we will review the core components of the Microsoft Dynamics AX installation, review a single computer installation of Microsoft Dynamics AX, and review the installation checklist process, verify sample data. This section starts with an overview of the core components of a Microsoft Dynamics AX installation. The core components of the installation include Application Object Server, Program File Server, Database Client. A single computer installation for test demo environment is then completed. After Microsoft Dynamics AX is installed, the functions on the installation checklist are completed. This includes following: compiling the application, entering license information, configuring the system, adjusting global types, synchronizing table indexes, setting up the company account, importing the sample data. The final step of this single computer installation process is to restart the Microsoft Dynamics AX client and verify that the sample data exists in the demo company. So during this section, we will go through the following scenario. A dedicated sales representative for the global trade and manufacturing company needs a demo version of Microsoft Dynamics AX installed on a computer. The sales representative has been advised to use the single computer installation option and then to complete the installation checklist. The final task is to restart the Microsoft Dynamics AX client and verify the sample data import in order to begin showing Microsoft Dynamics AX functionality to potential customer. So now we'll go through the core system installation. So we will go, if you will have a look at the slide, it shows the steps we will go through this chapter. So first is very important, validate the prerequisite that includes configure the Active Directory topology, install the prerequisite software that will include the SQL Server and Oracle. Then we'll follow by the install core system, which includes create the database, install file server, install application object server, which is AOS, install client, and start the system. Next, after the installation is complete, we will have to configure the core system. The configuration of the core system includes complete installation checklist, configure core modules, configure additional modules, and configure users and security. After configuration is finished, we will have to migrate the data to have the data in the system. And it includes import customer and item data and import test data. And after the migration is complete, we can set up and configure extended functionality if it is needed. So again, the core Microsoft Dynamics AX system consists of an instance of an application object server, a program file server, a database, and at least one client. These components can be installed on computer, arranged in variety of topologies, but without all elements, the system will not run. So what is the application object server? An application object server, or AOS, is a Microsoft Windows service that controls communications among Microsoft Dynamics AX clients, databases, and applications. It can be installed on a single computer or on a cluster that uses Windows Network Load Balancing. Application file server. The application file server contains the files in which the Microsoft Dynamics AX business logic is stored. Examples of the files in the directory include indexes, headers, and tables for each layer. The directory must be available to all application object server computers. Databases. A Microsoft Dynamics AX database stores the Microsoft Dynamics AX data as part of existing Microsoft SQL Server or Oracle Database Server installation. The database server must be set up with Windows authentication. And the client is the interface to Microsoft Dynamics AX data and functionality. So at the end of this section in your manuals, you will find the test your knowledge questions on page 249 that I would like to ask you to complete just right after our session. So you will Okay, you can refresh your memory, and it will help you memorize things we just went through. So now we'll go through the single computer installation of Microsoft Dynamics AX. For salespeople, partners, and consultants who need a portable Microsoft Dynamics AX installation, the single computer installation is a quick and easy way to perform the setup. The single computer installation process includes the following components: installation prerequisites, user rights verification, and installation of Microsoft Dynamics AX. Using the single computer installation, users can set up the 4 core Microsoft Dynamics AX roles on a single computer to create a development, test, pilot, or trial environments. Because of potential performance issue, the single computer installation option is not recommended for use in a live environment. So we have the installation prerequisites. Again, if you will have a look at the slides, you will see the first and the core is the installation prerequisites. The installation prerequisites include Microsoft Active Directory and current database and system requirements. The Active Directory, the computer that is running Microsoft Dynamics AX must also have access to computers in the same Active Directory service domain running Active Directory configuration in native mode. Current database and system requirements. Before you install Microsoft Dynamics AX, the current version of the database must be installed. The databases that are supported within the Microsoft Dynamics AX are Microsoft SQL Server and Oracle. For other system requirements and recommendations, you can address directly Microsoft Dynamics AX support, and the information that you can request includes operating system, hardware, and disk space. The user responsible for the installation must be logged in with an account that is a member of administrator group on the computer on which the setup program is run, and a member of the database creators server role in an instance of the SQL server on which the database is to be created. So let's go through the steps that are used during the single computer installation of Microsoft Dynamics AX. So first step is to insert the Microsoft Dynamics AX DVD into the computer DVD drive. And if the Microsoft Dynamics AX setup wizard does not start automatically, you need to find the auto-run file and double-click on it. You can locate this file in the root directory of the DVD. Under the installation section, you can just click Microsoft Dynamics AX. And on the welcome page of the Microsoft Dynamics AX setup wizard, we can click Next. The license term page appears, and the license terms and conditions must be accepted before continuing with the installation. Accepting the license agreement enables the Next button. On the license terms page, change the language view if it is necessary and then read the license agreement. Click I accept the license terms options button to accept the license terms and conditions, and then click Next. The Select Installation Type page appears and includes the following installation options: single computer installation and custom installation. When the single computer installation option is used, the following will be installed on the single computer: database server, file server, AOS, which is application object server, client, and .NET Business Connector. The custom installation option is used for live installations. The custom installation is used when each role will be installed on its own computer. Additional object servers are installed. Additional client computers are installed. On the Select Installation Type page, make sure the single computer installation is selected and then click OK. Yes, if it's a single computer installation. Because the AOS, or Application Object Server, only supports the Microsoft Windows Server 2003 operating system, a dialog box will appear if the installation is run on a system with Windows XP. In a test environment, just click Yes to continue with the installation. The Select Language page will appear, and all languages are automatically supported in the AOS. The only language decision to make during installation is for the default client language. The Select Language page appears. All languages are automatically supported. Supported in the AOS, and the only language decision to make during the installation is for the default client language. And after that, we just click Next, and the Select Help Language page will appear. With Microsoft Dynamics AX, users can install help files for multiple languages. If additional help languages are needed later, the setup program can be run again and the new language can be installed. On the Select Help Language page, select the help language to install on the client and then click Next. The Select Region page will appear as part of the standard file server installation. Tax and financial functionality will be installed for many countries in Asia Pacific, North America, and Western Europe. However, if users need tax and financial functionality for countries not included with the standard installation, they can use this page to install an additional region. So yes, if you go back to the region page, Microsoft Dynamics AX only supports one additional region per installation. So next is to create an instance of Application Object Server page, and it's installing an AOS instance. Installs the following components: AOS, which is Application Object Server, and Microsoft Dynamics AX Server Configuration Utility. On the Create an Instance of Application Object Server page, enter the name of the AOS and then click Next. It is recommended that user determine and use a naming convention for all aspects of an installation that includes the AOS name, database name, and application file server directory name. So on the Select Database page, we can see the following options. Create a new SQL database, connect to an existing SQL database, connect to an existing Oracle database server. For this installation, a new SQL Server database will be created. For information about how to create, how to connect to the existing SQL Server database or existing Oracle database server, you will need to refer to the Microsoft implementation guide. I would advise you, every time you are performing the installation of the Microsoft Dynamics AX, to have the implementation guide as help. So on the Select Database page, make sure that the Create a New SQL Server Database option is selected, and then click Next. The Connect to an instance of SQL Server page will appear, and in the server name field, type or click the arrow to select the name of the SQL Server to connect to, and then we can click Next. The Create SQL Server Database page appears. In the database name field, we can just type a name of a new Microsoft Dynamics AX database and then click Next. On the Installation Application Files page, accept the default location type, the location, or click Browse to navigate to the location where the application files will be installed. After that, we can click Next. And on the Installation Client Files page, click Browse to designate a different location, or click Next to accept the default location. Then click Next. And the Ready to Install page appears that displays a summary of roles and components to be installed on the computer. On the Ready to Install page, click Install to start the installation process. And the Updating System page display the progress of the installation will display. After the setup was completed, you will see the setup was completed successfully page, and on the setup was completed successfully page, you can review the summary of roles installed on the computer and then click Finish to exit the Microsoft Dynamics AX setup wizard. So let's have a look at our diagram slide again. During that presentation, we went through the following steps. Went through the validate prerequisites. So we made sure that we have the Active Directory and the SQL Server and databases. And during installation, we created the database, installed the file server, installed the application object server, installed the client, and now we have to shut down the system and restart it. So next step will be configuring core system, where we will go through the complete installation checklist and configure core modules, configure additional modules, and configure users and security. So the iOS service can take several minutes to start after the initial installation and must be running before opening the application. So to determine whether it has started, locate the Start menu. So locate the Start menu. And then click Settings, and in the control panel you can find the administrative tools, where you can find the services, and in the services we can find our dynamic server that has to be started. Microsoft Dynamics AX is opened on the Start menu on the desktop. Based on the start properties of Standard or Classic, the application is opened by either of these methods. So in the Standard, we can locate the Start menu, point to all programs, and then click Microsoft Dynamics AX. Or in the Classic, we can locate the Start menu, point and find the programs, and then click Microsoft Dynamics AX. So upon the initial start of Microsoft Dynamics AX, the installation checklist will open automatically. At the end of this section on page 260, you will find the test your knowledge questions that I would like to ask you to answer after this, straight after this session. But we will move to the next slide, and we will go through the installation checklist. The installation checklist guides users through the initial setup of the administration module. Most of these items are one-time setup options. As each option is completed, the blue arrow icon is changed to a green check mark icon. The installation, so we have the blue arrow, it will be changed to the green check mark. The installation checklist can also be accessed from the navigation pane in the Dynamics AX. So I will move to my Dynamics AX, and it could be found in the administration, setup, system, checklist, and installation checklist. So if I will click it, you can see this is the installation checklist for my system, and as you can see, it has green checkboxes. That means that I went through the installation checklist already in my system. The installation checklist must be completed before you add users to the system. If users are added, first they receive full user rights to the application, regardless of what user group they are assigned to, until the checklist is completed. So to complete the installation checklist, you need to follow these steps. The compile application objects updates references and makes sure that the application is ready for use. In a demonstration environment where development is not required, the compile process is not required. Click the blue arrow icon to the left of the compile application link to complete this task. If this is a live environment or an environment used to demonstrate development functionality, this step must be performed. The icon to the left of the compile application link now displays a green check mark, and the license information link becomes active with the blue arrow icon. Click the license information link and the license information form appears on the workspace. Purchased Microsoft Dynamics AX license can be entered manually or uploaded. The license information is used to enable the modules and functions that the company is implementing. To upload the license file in the license information, you just need to click the Load License button, and in the Load License form, type the path of the license file or click the folder to browse. Then you can click OK, and Microsoft Dynamics will start uploading the license. When the upload is complete, an info log will appear with a message logged from the operation. And this info log will show you the status of the upload, was it okay, or if there were any errors during the license upload programs. So next, when the license is uploaded, the configuration link becomes active. So the configuration form is used to enable or disable the purchased areas of Microsoft Dynamics AX. The uploaded licenses automatically enable the corresponding configuration keys, but the functionality related to each key must be enabled or disabled. But make sure that you review all the configuration keys and enable the functions that you want to use, because functionality that is not enabled does not appear on the Microsoft Dynamics menus. So you will need to expand each area and select the appropriate checkboxes to enable the functionality. After that, you can click OK to start the configuration process. The configuration form will close when the process is completed. The next task is to adjust global types. Because this sample data company requires no changes, you can click the blue arrow icon to the left of the Adjust Global Types link to mark the tasks as finished. But the Adjust Global Types form lets users change the properties on data types displayed without accessing the application object tree. Typically, these global types are not adjusted unless business requirements require the changes. These adjustments can be made during or after installation. However, all changes must be made before data is entered into the system. An example of global type adjustment is changing the number of decimals of the amount data type. The system default is 0 decimals places for an amount data type. By changing the number from 0 to 2 in the display length field, an amount that inherits from the amount data type will appear as 200.00 instead of 200. The change is reflected everywhere in the application where the amount data type is used. So if I will move to amount in my Adjust Global Types, and I can select amount, I have 20 decimals currently. If the Adjust Global Types form was opened accidentally, close the form without making any changes. A message may appear that asks if the dependent tasks must be reset. Click No. This also marks the tasks as finished. So I will just click Cancel, and I will click No. Go back to my presentation. So next function is synchronize function, and it synchronizes the tables and index information to the database, creates all the tables that are required to operate the system, is a mandatory step in setting up the system, and takes several minutes to finish. A progress meter appears as the process runs. When the process is complete, the progress meter disappears. Next link is company accounts link, and the company form is used to create new company accounts. So in this case, we can use the demo company is needed. So to create the new company, we can just press Ctrl+N. And if you remember from our previous sessions where we were creating the company accounts, it's exactly the same procedure. So In the company account field, you just need to type the ID for the company account, and in the name of company account field, just type the name of the company account. So make sure when you created a new company account, make sure that you have the new company account displayed on the right corner of the menu, on the bottom menu of the Dynamics AX. So make sure that is in the status bar. Then you can close the company form, and the next link, the import link, becomes available. And the import function is used to import sample data or data that was originally exported from Microsoft Dynamics AX as .dat extension files. So its extension is .dat. Sample data is a standard set of data that has been developed for training and testing purposes. So we'll go back one slide. In the import options form, click the folder to browse the sample data included in the Microsoft Dynamics AX installation DVD in the demo data folder. So you always can find the demo data to test the system in the installation DVD in the demo data folder you can import to your new environment. Click the Advanced tab, and under Import Methods, click Update Existing Records. And then you can click OK to start import. A message may appear stating that the Update Existing Records process is time-consuming. So you need to click Yes to continue with the import. When the import process is complete, an info log appears with information about the length of the process and the amount of records imported. So also this info log will display all the errors that appeared during the export. So you can close this info log, and the installation checklist process is now finished. After the installation checklist process finished, you have to close Microsoft Dynamics AX. So again, if we will have a look on our slide, we can see that we run already through the validate prerequisites, and we installed our core system, and the last step we configured our core system, which includes complete installation checklist, configure core modules, configure additional modules, and configure users and security. So after the installation checklist is completed, Microsoft Dynamics AX must be restarted. To restart Microsoft Dynamics AX and verify the data, you will need to find the Microsoft Dynamics AX and start it, and then verify if you are in your demo company account by checking the status bar. And to verify that the sample data was successfully imported into the demo company, you can go to the General Ledger and check Chart of Accounts. So if I will go back to my Dynamics AX, I make sure that I'm in demo company and go to the General Ledger and check if I have chart of accounts. The same way I can check if I have customers in the sales ledger or accounts receivable, and in accounts payable if I have vendors, and in stock management I have my items in the tables. So we finished our second part of the presentation and the presentation for today. And the second part provided information and instructions about how to set up a demonstration test environment of Microsoft Dynamics AX. It began with an overview of the core components of a Microsoft Dynamics AX installation, which included application object server, application file server, database, and client. After you're reviewing system prerequisites and preparing for the installation, the procedure for completing a single computer installation process was performed. This process included selecting languages and regions, creating an instance of the application object server, creating an SQL database, selecting where install files are stored. After Microsoft Dynamics AX was installed, the functions of the installation checklist were processed, and this included application compilation, license information upload, system configuration, table index synchronization, demo company creation, and demo data import. When the installation checklist was finished, the Microsoft Dynamics AX client was restarted, and the sample data import was verified, and the Microsoft Dynamics AX demonstration system was ready for use. So we finished our session for today. I would like to ask you to go through the exercises and test your knowledge questions for the both chapters 8 and 9, and make them before the next session next week. And if you have any questions, please type your questions in the question box, and I will answer them as we have some time and before we'll finish our time.
Yeah, thank you very much, Margarita.
Sorry?
Thank you very much, Margarita, for this presentation.
Right.
And yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I also would like to thank you for your attendance to this live meeting, and would like to welcome you to tomorrow's finance sessions, week 4. You will receive the login details for this live meeting by the end of the day. As Margarita suggested, we can stay a little bit longer online so that you have the chance to type in your questions.
Oh, thank you very much. So as we don't have any more questions, I would like to finish our session for today and see you tomorrow. Thank you very much for your attention. Goodbye.